Witchcraft and the occult. It seems everywhere we turn today, we see their images and influences. Many think these are harmless, but is that true? And could there be even more hiding in front of our very eyes? Well, today, with the help of our special guest...
Oh, good. Another occult expert is going to Christian-splain our practices and why they don't conform to their holy books. Hello, my friends. So we have another ex-witch and ex-Satanist that is going to tell us the dangers of the occult. And this video is titled The Rise of Witchcraft. What's really happening? Billy Crone exposes Hollywood, government, and more. A special shout out to Kelvin Frasier for finding this little gem for us to watch so that we too can learn how witchcraft is on the rise, and apparently somehow they are going to expose Hollywood, the government, and much more. A big shout out to my Patreons who make these videos possible. Thank you. And now, on with the show. I hope you enjoy.
You might have some that are called like Alexandrian witches. That's a section of Wicca. And that's because it's a model of Wicca, or witchcraft, because that's what the word Wicca means. It means witch. And it's a model after Alexander, who developed Alexandria. You may have somebody who's a Gardnerian witch. Well, that was from the grandfather of Wicca, okay, Gerald Gardner, right, who developed the first formulaic book called the Book of Shadows, of spells and potions and things of that nature.
Wow, basic information anyone can find on the internet. We are nearly halfway through the video and still nothing about the actual dangers of witchcraft.
But then you might have some that's called an eclectic witch. Right? And they just grab a little bit from anybody because, you know, you can make it up as you go, right? You might have something that's called an environmental witch, right? Or a hereditary witch. They're doing it because their family has been doing it for multiple generations.
So does somebody just decide, they get involved in all this and they just decide they want to be a witch?
By the gods, this is like listening to little children describe philosophy. Yes, people just decide to become a witch. Most people read a book or two, and I do mean actual books and not fantasy books like Harry Potter, but books written by other witches on the subject. And if it resonates with them, then they can either find like-minded people or practice as what is known as a solitary witch, just like how someone would become a Christian.
Yes, like what's the motivation?
Yeah,
Well, motivation, again, I think is inherently, I think people are spiritual. Even atheists, you know, that's the old axiom, there's no atheists in foxholes.
Oh, good. He takes a break from straw-manning witches to straw-manning atheists. I am sure there have been plenty of atheists in foxholes. And what an archaic saying. Do we still fight in foxholes? I guess so.
Right? Yeah. You know there's a God. In fact, if you're a true atheist, then why are you spending so much time fighting against a God that you say doesn't exist, right? So,
ooh, checkmate, atheist. He got you there. There is no way of coming back from that straw, man. Just shut up and crawl back in your foxhole, you godless heathens.
So I don't buy that. Plus, the scripture, more importantly, says in Ecclesiastes, God has set eternity in our hearts, right? Yes. So there's a spirit. We know that there's something higher and above ourselves, worthy of worship. Unfortunately, the enemy's out there.
The enemy's out there. You sure do spend a lot of time and energy propping up how powerful the devil is. Why can't the all-powerful, all-knowing, and omnipresent creator of the entire universe get a movie deal? Why are you not making a movie on the Begats? Is it because even you know the Bible is boring?
Detouring people off the one and only way, and that's through Jesus Christ. But they get involved into it because it is a spiritual element. It's just demonic, and it's what you don't want to go down, number one. Number two, all the things we're talking about, the promotion.
Oh, I get it now. You're jealous that people are entertained by fantasy. Well, you could force people to read only your holy book, strip them of their freedom and liberty, and threaten to burn them at the stake or hang them in the gallows. Oh, wait, you already tried that and it didn't go over so well. I'm here to know what the dangers are of witchcraft, not to hear you prattle on and whine about how boring your religion is. The only dangers I've experienced are eye strain from reading too much and occasionally burning my fingers trying to light a charcoal. But now I use tweezers. Much safer. Come on, what are the dangers?
Witchcraft is being promoted everywhere, and not just in Hollywood, but in the music industry. We bring that out. There's a lot of people in the music industry, Hollywood, and they're make no bones about it. They're flat out witches.
So what? Why should they have to hide their beliefs? Christians don't have to tuck in their crucifixes. Why should witches have to hide their pentagrams? Although it's never happened to me, I guess one danger is that you could get poked from a pentagram. Come on. What are the dangers?
Social media, you pick them, social media. Many people in Hollywood and the media, are openly admit that they're not just involved in the occult, but they actually give credence to the demons that inhabit them, that give them these special powers to sing.
Who says this? Good grief, man, you sure do have a lot of straw. I thought bearing false witness was a sin in your religion.
And act and things of that nature. And this is proven fact.
Yeah.
No, it's not a proven fact. In order for this to be a proven fact, you would first have to prove it as a fact and not just make unsupported and baseless claims. Supposedly, you have a study that we have yet to see.
So could you break down some of those practices like divination, casting of curses, law of attraction? What is that?
Yeah, well, again, everyone's a little bit different, and sometimes it's hard to codify a universal behavior with witches because of the relativistic aspect.
Yes, but I'm sure you will make some shit up. You haven't used up all your straw yet, have you? I have faith in you, Billy. Spin us a tale.
But a lot of them, as far as practice is, they'll start with divination, right? It's a very selfish, self-centered religion, witchcraft, the occult.
First off, the occult is not a religion in of itself, and some witches don't practice witchcraft as a religion. Seems like something so basic would be known by an ex-witch.
And believe it or not, they still have the cauldrons, right? They got their sacrificial knives. And
oh, those sacrificial knives used to form sacred circles? My sacrificial knife is so dull I can't even cut a doorway in a sacred circle. But he has to use hyperbolic language to scare the gullible.
And all the paraphernalia to do the potions and the herbs. And people don't want to deal with this, but it isn't just they're making an herbal potion, but they sacrifice animal and, yes, people.
Taking a human life is called murder, and in America, murder is illegal. If you have any knowledge of an actual crime being committed, you have a responsibility to bring that to the attention of the proper authorities. Christian bigots such as this jerk-off likes to make this claim as to the average person. It seems plausible, and many idiots will believe him without question.
In fact, that's going on today. We document this in India, in Africa.
So you're just going to lump everything together? Got it. I'm pretty sure murder is illegal in India as well. And there have been innocent people burned to death, accused of being witches in Africa. Thanks, Christian missionaries.
It's at least they will admit it in the newspapers that people are being hunted down for their body parts is sick. Central and South America. And then when you realize that, and we talked about this before, is it only because of sex trafficking that we have so many missing people and children, even in the United States?
Wow, this guy is playing off all the plausible fears of Christians. The majority of missing children are found and returned safely. A very small number are actually abducted by non-family members.
Could it be because there's some occult behavior? I think there is.
Then show us the facts. Show us the arrest records. Show us the court cases. Stop making plausible accusations. Sure, there's a possibility people fall into many wormholes or are abducted by aliens. But show us the proof. Where is the evidence?
Yeah,
and we just
you
don't want to
also
deal with it.
mentioned tarot cards, Mother Earth spirit guides, trying to perceive the future.
So, the dangers are actually playing off the fears of Christian parents and making unsupported claims. Got it.
Shouldn't we even be concerned that some of this was practiced at the White House not too long ago?
Ah, boy, even he's laughing at this one. This is so rich.
How much time do we have? We exposed that thing too.
Exposed? Wow, what is all the controversy about? Surely it must have made headlines around the world. Now I'm dying to know what you exposed at the White House. Come on, Billy, don't let me down.
Believe it or not, occult activity, it may have started before, but occult activity started back in the President Pierce days. right? And that was 1 or 2 presidents before Abraham Lincoln. And it was because his wife, Jane Pierce, lost their son. And so she invited these occult people to come in to speak with the dead. That's necromancy again, Deuteronomy 18, right? This is in the White House, right? So then it continued on. It goes to Abraham Lincoln's wife, believe it or not.
Oh, no.
She did seances in the White House as well, at least 8 that we've recorded. Even Nancy Reagan, she was huge into astrology.
I knew she had astrologer.
That's it? A couple of seances and astrology? That's the smoking gun? Spiritualism was very popular in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, and astrology has been even more commonplace. Even newspapers would publish daily horoscopes.
Hillary Clinton, we demonstrate not only with occult behavior, but into witchcraft and things of that nature.
Occult behavior? Can you be any more vague? And no, Hillary Clinton is not into witchcraft. She identifies as a Methodist. This is Pizzagate nonsense. Good God, all you idiots just parrot the same debunked nonsense over and over again, hoping it sticks.
It's still in print. I'm not making this up. This isn't from joeschmo.com or wackyconspiracyguy.org.
Yes, it is. It is well documented of what her religious beliefs are, and it has nothing to do with witchcraft or Satanism, despite what other conspiracy idiots lie about on the internet.
It's still in print. I have to say that because, you can't trust everything on the internet. No, these are legit sources.
Despite you making all these claims of having studies and sources, we have yet to see one.
She had seances in the White House, and she admittedly was trying with a New Age guru. She was admittedly trying to contact Eleanor Roosevelt and Gandhi for advice. I'm not joking.
She didn't hold a seance, but she did commune with Eleanor Roosevelt and Gandhi as part of some brainstorming therapeutic session. This was distorted in Bob Woodward's book, The Choice. First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton held imaginary conversations with Eleanor Roosevelt and Mahatma Gandhi as a therapeutic release, according to a new book written by Bob Woodward, says a report in Sunday's edition of the Chicago Sun-Times. The First Lady declined a personal advisor's suggestion that she should address Jesus Christ. However, because it would be too personal, according to Woodward's book, The Choice. While many media outlets reported that Woodward's book documented Clinton holding seances and speaking to the dead, Dr. Gene Houston, the advisor who worked with Clinton during these imaginary chats, said that the exercise was more akin to brainstorming than a religious ritual. We were using an imaginative exercise to force her ideas, to think about how Eleanor would have responded to a particular problem. Dr. Houston said, "I have never been to a seance." She said that what happened during the brainstorming sessions was somewhat distorted by Bob Woodward in his new book, The Choice. Then, she said, Mr. Woodward's description was deeply distorted in newspaper accounts. "We have a media society looking for sound bites," Dr. Houston said. "That gets to the skin, but not to the muscle of the heart of anything." You are cherry-picking events from her past and distorting the truth to paint a false picture for your audience.
Bush Jr., he was no friend of Christianity. Again, I'm just being honest. Bush Jr., I got him on tape. He said he was a Christian, but I got him on tape after 9/11. Most people don't want to deal with this. On 9/11, and he was asked the question, he said, "Do Christians and Muslims worship the same God?" He said, "Yes."
Yes, they both share a monotheistic belief. He is absolutely correct.
And again, there's skull and bones. There's all kinds of other stuff that's going on with that family history, unfortunately.
I highly doubt that weird fraternity for rich, privileged college kids has anything to do with the occult.
And this is still in print. I just checked it last night. Just make sure it's still out there. You can see it. Check out Smudging Ceremony Susan Rice, who was appointed by Biden. When she gets to the White House, and smudging is a witchcraft practice.
No, it's not. It is from Native American traditions, although some witch and magical ceremonies often involve purification, cleansing, or blessing with incense.
But he said that Washington was a swamp. Mm-hmm. When you look at the facts, I think it's even worse than that. I think there's one word that needs to be added based on the evidence. Washington is an occult swamp.
I wish her lazy politicians were studying the occult. Then maybe we'd actually get stuff done, besides voting themselves a raise. But they lack any true convictions, so I doubt they are very religious or spiritual people.
And specifically, the people who are trying to throw off he's shackled them in fetters, and basically the New World Order guys that are stuff of that nature.
There you go again, talking about those rich oligarchs. Yeah, I am sure billionaires and powerful individuals don't have their hands all over our politicians. Yeah, it's the Wiccans gathering under a full moon to celebrate Samhain we have to worry about. Nice deflection.
You know, a lot of Christians, they'll look at the world, even the rise of occult wicked behavior, and say, well, what's the use, right? Why should I get... Hey, listen, apathy is not the response of the Christian.
You are really pushing for that one-world religion of yours.
He knows because he was in the occult. He was in Satanism. He was in the New Age movement. He tried every other world religion.
These Christians often push conspiracies that the occult somehow influences our culture in a negative way, that evil demonic forces are causing all the world's problems, when in reality, the church has caused way more harm, from burning people at the stake or hung to death accused of being witches, to covering up child abuse and perpetuating bigotry towards homosexual and transsexual people. This spiritual war of theirs has been harming innocent people for thousands of years, and I don't see an end to this one-sided war. I hope that Christianity grows up soon and realizes that humankind causes more harm than their imaginary horned being in red spandex who lives underground in some fiery realm, while their all-powerful Sky Daddy watches from above and allows all the suffering in the world to carry on. Until next time, I will see you in hell, you heathens.